How's it going, everyone? We have another top 30 visit for the Packers. So in this one, we're going to be looking at offensive tackle Tyler Guyton out of Oklahoma University. Now, Tyler Guyton's actually been mocked towards the Packers in a lot of drafts and is kind of been a popular pick to be picked at 25 for us. So on the consensus draft board, he is currently the 7th best offensive tackle on the draft board and is 30th overall out of all the players. For his measurables, he comes in at a whopping 6'7" and 322 pounds, had a vertical of 34.5 inches and a broad jump of 8 feet and 11 inches. He did not participate in the bench press, so we don't have that stat or that testing stat. And for the 40-yard dash, ran a 5.19. Unfortunately, he didn't participate in the shuttle or any of the agility, so we don't have that, which is, I think, a better determination for offensive tackles, especially for where the Packers, what kind of tackles the Packers like. So unfortunately, we don't have a shuttle time. But with how he tested and what we do have, he came out with a RAS score of 9.74. So extremely high for an offensive tackle. Now, for his time at the collegiate level, he spent 4 years in college. But he actually started his collegiate time over at TCU, was actually an H-back. He didn't even start amongst the offensive line. He didn't start any of the games. So in 2020, he just played 4 snaps, and then in 2021, played 27 total snaps, but didn't really contribute anything over at TCU. Then he transferred over to Oklahoma, and that's where he started playing amongst the offensive linemen and no longer as an H-back. So in his first year at Oklahoma, he played 401 snaps, had an offensive grade of 66.2, a pass blocking grade of 72.9, and a run block grade of 62.1. And then in 2023, he played 663 total snaps, had an offensive grade of 63.7, a run block grade of 60.5, and a pass block grade of 72.9. So he's a better pass blocker than a run blocker. But the real big statistic here is the fact in those 2 years at Oklahoma, when transferring over there and just starting amongst the offensive line, considering he didn't start as a tackle, he played just over 1,000 snaps and only allowed 2 sacks in that entire 2 years. And he didn't even allow a single sack in the year 2023 and had a total amount of pressures of just 16 allowed in that span of 2 years and over 1,000 snaps, which is just insane, especially considering, once again, he didn't play amongst the offensive linemen at all until he got to Oklahoma. So he pretty much got to Oklahoma and started off very well, despite how green and raw he was. So what are the pros for Tyler Guyton? Well, he's towering and long frame with a lean, evenly dispersed build and very good athletic ability. He packs heat on contact with the size, natural power, and grip strength to engulf and overwhelm defenders once latched. Naturally strong anchor to sit down and grind down the bull rush. Glides out of his stance in pass protection with his quickness, range, and balance to protect the corner on an island. Flashes patience in his pass sets to maintain the inside-out relationship with light, active, and evasive hands to disrupt the rusher's timing and end run reps quickly, and can jolt, feed, and displace first-level defenders on angle drive and double-team blocks with the burst and size to blot out backers on his climbs. Now, as for the cons for Guyton, he's green and unrefined technician with disorganized footwork that leads to abrupt, quick losses. His aiming points and landmarks in the run game are still a work in progress. He struggles playing with consistent leverage and control in the run game due to an upright, rigid playing style, and is easily manipulated out of position against stutters and hesitations, causing him to drift into oversets and create a soft inside shoulder. And so what's kind of elevated him into being a potential first-round pick is his extreme size and athleticism. Like, he is a very athletic guy for being 6'7", 6'8", 322 pounds. He's a big guy, but extremely athletic and can move pretty smoothly. But the problem is he's only been 2 years at the position. He played right tackle for the most part in just 2 years amongst the offensive linemen. Before that, he didn't play any, and he was just an H-back. So he's very green, and that's where he's unrefined and still has a lot of fundamental techniques to learn and needs a lot of development. Now, that's not a problem for the Packers. They don't mind drafting a player with high upside in the first round with extreme athletic ability, having them sit, get the ropes under them, and pretty much develop them. They're not tasked to be an immediate starter for the most part. But also saying that, he doesn't exactly completely fit a draft profile that Guyton has kind of gone for offensive tackles, especially in the first round or in the first couple of rounds. So usually they don't go for these super big guys. This dude's 6'7", 6'8". They usually don't go for that in the first couple of rounds. That's usually a day 3 pick kind of player. Then there's B. He can't really play amongst the offensive line like everywhere like a lot of our players can. We like the versatility on our offensive linemen. They typically gear towards that. So being 6'7", 6'8", he's mainly a tackle. I can't imagine trying to kick a 6'7", 322-pound dude over at right guard or left guard. He's mainly just a right tackle and potentially a left tackle. So that kind of limits him to where he could play. Then it's also, what do the Packers feel like they want to do with the offensive line? Do they want to shuffle it, or are they just trying to go for a specific position? Because as of right now, right guard is the glaring weakness with John Runyon leaving. Then, depending on who you are, I still think Josh Myers, we need to upgrade there. And then, how do you feel about Rasheed Walker? Do you think he's going to be viable as a left tackle? He wasn't very good in the first half, but really came along in the second half. Will he continue that this year? Hopefully, but you kind of probably need a backup plan just in case for that. So we do have a bit of question marks still amongst this offensive lineman. Now, if we did go towards Guyton and he could pan out to be a good player, then that allows some versatility with Zach Tom. Zach Tom, great right tackle. A lot of people, including myself, feel like he's even a better center. Or at the least, kick him the right guard to where Guyton could play right tackle. And then you're solidifying potentially your starting 5 if you're going to thrust Guyton potentially into the role of the starting 5. Or is he just going to be a swing tackle that first year and kind of develop? And that's where there's a lot of question marks. I'm not sure if Guyton's going to be the guy unless this visit where they test him and they get some shuttle times and he just wows the coaching staff and Guyton to where he just falls in love with him and he's going to go for his guy. That remains to be seen. But at the end of the day, Guyton is a player where on paper and his athletic ability you can fall in love with, but he's just so green and raw. The question comes up, do you want to actually spend a first round pick on a very developing player? The Packers typically don't mind that, but where's the limit? Is it going to be on the offensive line side? Is that too much? Because we've typically done that on the defensive side, or in the case of Jordan Love. But let me know what you think down in the comments. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, go Pack Go.